All right. So this last part, I'm going to look at maybe seeing how we can tweak our poses just a little bit. I'm going to get rid of that image playing because I think it's slowing down my playback speed at this point. So if I select that and just delete it, there we go. I think we're playing things back a little bit faster now, a little bit closer to real time. So I can see things are just a little bit slow through the jump. So a little bit rigid. So how do we smooth this up? Well, first of all, we could probably go in. Let me turn off grease pencil too. We don't need to see that. We can probably start looking at our timing. So I'm going to bring in our dope sheet. Now, remember, our reference video is really just to get those little nuanced motions, those little nuanced poses with the body. But they're not really meant to be kind of kept 100% in terms of overall timing. Because, you know, different characters have different proportions. Some characters might be a bit more stylized. So they might move and behave differently because of their weight and, you know, just the overall style of what you're trying to achieve. So to change my timing, I could do it a couple ways. One is just obviously select all of my keyframes. Now I can see where all of my keys are in relation to where all my in-betweens are. The in-betweens are these kind of stray ones that are just kind of floating around between my main keyframes, or the initial poses that we did. So what is working and what isn't working? So I think parts that are working, I think it's all just a little bit slow, to be honest. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab just everything. And I'm going to just take those keys. So just grab everything, take those keys, and then using the R key, so scale, I'm going to take my middle mouse button. I'm just going to start dragging this a little bit closer. So I'm just going to make it, that's 180 or 190, so bring it down to 140. So I'm taking about, you know, a quarter faster. All right, so definitely the beginning and the end is working a lot better at this speed. Like from this point on, like that turnaround, that's looking pretty good. What about this part? Yeah, the hands dropping down to the side is looking pretty good. It's just the jump is looking a little bit fast, and it's a little bit stiff as well. So how do we smooth that out? So probably about from this point. Now before I do anything, because I scaled, scaling does throw things onto fractional frames. So if I zoom in and look at this, I can see, well, here's frame 19, but you can see my keyframe, instead of being at the beginning of the frame, where it should be, it's like in the middle somewhere. And that's just kind of a side effect of scaling. So just make sure if you do scale your keyframes, you just shift them over one frame, like this is all of them. All of them, just zooming in just so I can see what I'm doing. And then shift them back one frame. There we go. And what that's going to do then is going to pop everything to a whole value. Otherwise, yeah, it'll just be a nightmare if you try rekeying things. So that's very important to remember. So let's see, where's the jump take place? Let me just go back. Now I'm about 140. Let me just go 160 because I probably need to lengthen that jump. So the jump starts around here and ends around here, so 74, 39 to 74. So let me just take these keys, I'm just going to shift them over just a smidge, and between 39 and 74, I'm just going to shift these around, so 74, 39, so this is the jump and recovery portion of things. And I'm just going to scale this up just a bit, and again I just have to shift this over a frame and back a frame. And let's see what we have now. Now it's looking a little bit slow. Let me just scale that down just a little bit more here. Somewhere in between. Okay, it's almost there. I think maybe I can add. The jump's funny because there's just so much happening during the jump that really just one frame or two frames makes the world of a difference. Yeah, it's just not, it's still not quite there. Let's go. Whoops. We're almost back to where we were. Let's see. Okay, I'm gonna go with that. So just make sure I just move it one frame over, one frame backish. All right. And next thing I want to do is just add a little bit more fluidity into this. And I'm just going to kind of push some poses, add a little bit of squash and stretch in through this as well, just to really kind of exaggerate some of this if I can. So going in here, let's zoom in. So I really want to maybe push this squash position down quite a bit more. So I'm going to take this guy and we could do this a number of ways. I'm wondering, should I introduce animation layers or not? Let me see. No, maybe not at the moment. Let me just save as. Save scene as. Increment and save. I think my Neocitrin is wearing off, so I'm going to have to go grab another one soon. Let me see here. So I'm going to push this down even more so. So let's push that down. Maybe push this down even more, just so I get a bigger arc for him to go through. And I'm going to have to even start that out just a bit more here too. This could be even back a little bit. Maybe go up onto his heel just a little bit more here. So it's a bit more of a rocking motion. And I would just have to add just a little bit more of an in-between here. Well, not there though. Probably about here. Cool. Cool. And then what I'm going to do is push that stretch here. Just like the bouncing ball. So this would be where the main stretch would be. Bring that leg up a little bit. I'm gonna have let's see what happens if I have a bit more curl in through the spine here. So I'm gonna bring this down. Rotate that forward a bit. Maybe not quite so forward, but definitely squishing it in. Maybe have a little bit of drag on the wrists. Slightly. Maybe bring that arm down just a bit. Okay, and next thing I'm going to do is maybe I'll just tilt this guy back a little bit more here. Yeah, the problem with this is that transition. I'm going to have to bring that a little bit more forward. And push that up just a bit more. And maybe push these shoulders up just a bit more too. And I'm wondering if I could push this up a little bit more as he's coming over this rock. This will give me a little bit more clearance with the feet, maybe. If I were to go in and bring these guys up a little bit more. there's a bit more separation going on. And I almost want to push this up even more, just through this part, just to really kind of have things collect up here. Alright, so now we're getting into that stretch position, and let's see if we can push that stretch even more. So maybe bring this down a bit more. Maybe bring the hips down a little bit more. Let's push this down even more so. And I'm just going to push that back. Let's see what we got so far. Alright, it's looking a little bit more fluid. Let's see it again. There's some popping in the arms as he lands, I can see. Might want to have a little bit more drag on those arms too, coming down. So right now they go up and they come down right away into about this pose. Just looking at these arms, so let me just see here. They come up, and maybe I might want to have them drifting higher still, or keeping them up. Maybe not quite so down just yet. So let me just think about bringing that up. Maybe this guy too. Just a smidge. And then here, maybe they could be even higher. Ever so, maybe even that elbow's coming up a bit more. Maybe this guy could be higher too. I just don't want them wobbling around, that's all. Start the elbows coming down first. Yeah, there's just some weirdness going between these poses here now that I'm gonna have to fix up just a bit. A little bit of a twisty twist, if that's a thing. So, you know, it's getting there. I think we can go a little bit faster into the jump now, and I think we're losing that sense of hang time. Now, one thing I could do to move things around a little bit more easily is going into my view mode and turn on scene summary. I actually don't have to have any keys selected to modify these things. So I can just go in and select, you know, in the dope sheet up here, and if I think, you know, that could be just a frame or two faster in through here, I can just go and do that and see what happens. Whoops, not go backwards. And then, you know, the hang time, maybe I want that a little bit in through here, just a little bit longer. And then coming out and into this landing here, I want this to be a little bit faster. So I might just move some of these together, so it's a bit faster coming out of the hang time. Now I think this is the hang time here. Nope, right in through here. So this could be faster here. And maybe I'll just spread these three out just a bit. Alright, it's looking a little bit better. Right, just like the bouncing ball, right? Because it's faster going out of the bounce and faster going into the bounce, but when we're going through the arc of the bounce, you know, there's going to be a little bit more ease in, ease out. Now, it's a little bit floaty on the landing, so I want this to be a little bit faster from here to here. So from here to here. All right, and that's this fairly spaced out section here. So let me just grab everything after that. And I'll just make these just a little bit closer together. Alright, let's see what happens now. Cool. Alright, that's looking a little better. Alright, I'm just getting bombarded with emails. Okay, so I still think we can get more squish and squash, squash and stretch, tomato, through this, and it might be a matter of just refining or replacing some of the keys that are there, but I think we could definitely push this further here. And I'm going to start just separating a few things. So as this comes up, I'm going to stretch that out, like physically stretch that out more. Maybe have this catch up just a little bit. And then as this is coming down, I want it to have a little bit of drag on the torso, so the lower half starts moving down a little bit before what happens up here. So let's bring that up. Let's bring that up a bit. Cool. But not quite so much that it's separating away from the hips as much as that. So what I might want to do is just bring this up here just a bit. Now this is going to be happening so fast you won't really be able to perceive it. But you'll feel it once it's in there properly. Alright, I'm going to keep that. And I might want to have just a little bit more kind of drag through the chest as it comes down here. So we've got coming out here. Maybe I'll just move this a little bit more forward. Stay a little bit more forward. Maybe this could move back just a bit more. Cool. And I'm just going to have this drag carry through the head. Thinking about the whip. Head and neck. Where's that neck controller? It's hiding. It's in there somewhere. Is that it? Nope. Right there. Yeah, that's not working. It's in there. I don't think I'm selecting the right thing, but anyhow, let's see. Alright, maybe that's okay. I'm going to add a little bit more overshoot, though, on the body as it comes across here. So instead of just stopping like that, maybe I can stop but move forward a little bit more. And it's that off balance and that's prompting that foot to come forward. let's see what's going on with the arms here. Definitely there's some issues happening. So let's see. So they're coming down, swinging up, moving down, but then they move up again. So we gotta settle that down a little bit too. So they can definitely come down. But once they start moving up, we don't want to have a yo-yoing effect. So they can start moving up here maybe. And then up more here. Let's see if we get a bit more of a swing happening between this. You know, I mean, one of those things where it'd be not super noticeable, but I just want to see if we can get it better. Yeah, I can see stuff happening in through here. And gimbal, slight gimbal, let's see. Cool. Alright, what about the legs through the jump? Something just stood out there for me. It's not too bad. Not too bad. Now I know in the reference I do come down a little bit more toes first. I think part of it maybe it could be just a little bit less of a roll right here, maybe a bit flatter. Not that it's going to be coming down heel first, although now it looks like it, but you know, it actually works better, to be honest. Provided it goes a little bit flatter there. Cool. Let's see now. So we're really just trying to get nice arcs and nice fluidity between our poses. If that means adding a little bit of squash and stretch, you know, as long as it's not perceivably changing our model too much, then we can get away with it. You know, this is more of a cartoony model, so we can definitely push it. Probably even push it more than what I have here. So like these hips could really kind of even swing more forward, perhaps. And then back, and further back on the landing. Maybe not so much. Cool. Now there is a bit of a pop on the swing, the arm swings that we were doing, and I'm just wondering if we can just key those or fix those keys up just a bit. And I'll just show you a quick way we can do that. Let me see here first. All right, so if I were to look at all my keys at this point, they look like this, right? So our main keys are still there, nice and intact, but then we got like a lot of these little in-between bits. It's those little in-between bits that can cause some of the popping and stuff. So we've got this landing right here, so we have these kind of close set keyframes. Yeah, and there's just not the most even transition from here to here. What I could do is just make sure I just key everything again. Let's see what happens if I get rid of that keyframe right there. Cool. It's working a bit better. I'm just gonna bring down that head a little bit more. Maybe not turning it so much though. Alright, that's not too bad. Not too bad for, you know, 2 hours of blocking, 10 seconds of animation. It's pretty good start anyway. But then, you know, it would really be another hour or so of me just kind of tweaking things. Now, there is this cool thing we could turn on too, and I think it's on this guy, this shield. Let me see. No, that's not it. Or is it on this? No, there's a way to bring up sub-controls, which allow us to add in bendy arms and stuff like that. Here it is here. It's on the hips. So what I could do is just break the connections just on that one attribute, just so I can turn them on. And what these allow us to do then is really kind of push and pull. Now that's just the spine sub-controls. Now where's the arm sub-controls? Is it on the shoulders? It's somewhere. Snap, twist, auto stretch. I swear that there are sub-controls for the arms and legs. I just don't know where they are. They're hidden somewhere. Maybe there aren't any. I'm pretty sure I saw that this guy had them. Well, forget everything I just mentioned then, because oh, Bendy. Yeah, Bendy. So it is on the shield. So let's just turn break connections just on Bendy. And this way, you know, we could go in and start really kind of pushing and pulling some of these things. Now, right now, Bendy has no keyframes on anything yet. So what I might want to do is just go to where all my main keyframes are. And I can do this by just using my greater than or less than keys here. And I'm just going to key over just where all of the main keys are. And I can tell which ones are the main keys just because there's more of them in a line. And that way I know that my arms aren't going to be weirdly bent when I'm in a main pose that people will notice. But what we can do is go in between some of these in-between poses, like here, for example. And I can start, you know, adding in a lot more of a kind of a organic kind of shape to this. So almost like kind of a drawn pose where this is going to be a little bit more, you know, a bit more bent, like a rubber arm bent. Now, is that too much? Maybe too much, but I'm going to lower that too just a bit. So let's see what happens now. So it's not bent there. We really don't want it bent here because maybe it becomes a little bit too noticeable, perhaps. But let's see what happens if I play it forward. Oh, it's actually not too bad. Not too bad. Yeah, what happens if I, on the way down here? So maybe, what happens if I maybe just push this up a bit more? And then we could just create that illusion that, you know, it's dragging up, like a bendy drag up. Just get that nice kind of bendy deformation in through here. Cool. Well, that's looking better. Cool. Maybe the legs. Oh yeah, so here I might want to kick this forward a bit, more like a hurdle, because it does kind of pop back a little bit. So let me just bring that up a little bit more here. Oh, that's even worse. So what did I do wrong? It's because of all those in-betweens there. Let me undo what I did. So we want this guy right here. We definitely want that. And we want probably this. But I might want to get rid of some of the stuff in between, which is some of this stuff right here. So let me see. So gonna let me scale that. Why not? There we go. So we want that. Don't want this though. So get rid of that. And we want this. Let's go get rid of this and this. Just don't delete from the scene summary if that's visible. Otherwise, you'll delete all of your keys, not just your selected controllers. Cool. And I'm just going to bring that up a little bit more forward here. Okay, just make sure that it's following a nice arc. We don't want it wonky, all wonky and moving around like that. That's interesting. Oh, there's a, oh yeah, there's a bit of a, I must have scaled this because there's a fractional key. So let me just delete that. So I wonder if about right around here if we could add just a little bit of a rubbery hose thing. I wonder if that's going to ruin it. Just a little bit, just a tiny bit. So I love using these if I can get away with it. Cool. Let's see what that looks like. Cool. Let's get in there. Yeah, I might actually do a little bit more, just to do a little bit more offset. Obviously, the ponytail could be added in. And whatnot, but for now I think that's pretty good. Wait, is there a bit of a stutter in the arms right at the beginning? There is. right here. Yeah, so they come down, maybe instead of just down, very much like what I did in real life, maybe down and back a little bit. And then as they're sliding forward, we want to put a bit of an arc in there, which is what, IK is missing when we use IK. So instead of just a straight linear move, I do want to have them kind of dip down just a little bit, just so that it's moving through an arc. And then here, as we're getting into this squish position, or this, it can start moving up, and then up a little bit more maybe. And then up just a bit more. I'm ruining it. Here, let me just go back. Undo, 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 undo. Alright, I think that's really just it. I just got to make sure that there's a bit of an arc in through here. From here to here. And then down here, I think maybe the shoulders need to go up a bit. As an in-between. A bit more than what they are anyway. And back, maybe a bit. Maybe that's too much? I don't know. It's hard to tell. It's going to be through the action, so let's see. No, maybe that's okay. So let me turn off the curves. So one thing we didn't do is adding in the face expressions. But in terms of the fluidity, it's almost there. I'd say it's like 80% of the way there. I am getting a sense of weight. I'm getting a nice sense of hang time. It's just moving just fast enough into the jump and fast enough out of that to convey a sense of mass, which is good. I'm not really seeing many perceivable little jerks or jitters that don't seem natural, which is what we want. Now, things that still need to be added would be the face. There is a face. I should probably go in and do a little bit of face animation, and the ponytail. So what I might do that this afternoon, a little bit later, render it off, and I'll post that after I've posted these three videos. All right, so hopefully this has been somewhat helpful. Again, taking it from nothing to, I'd say 90% of the body is there. I still might want to spend another couple hours tweaking things a little bit. Maybe, obviously maybe another half an hour just adding a little bit of face animation and ears and the ring on his ear, the goatee should move with some of the big actions as well. I know there's controls for that. So I might go through and add in those small little secondary motion or secondary action elements, which arguably it would be more secondary motion. Just overlap from the main motion anyway. Alright, so I'll leave it there just because I think it's time for my next round of Neo Citron. Hopefully, again, this was informative and help you get going with your blocking and whatnot. So let me just stop the video. Whoops. Oh, okay, that was from before. Stop the video now.